Here we have a geometry problem. There is a figure given here. So in the figure above, the lines P, Q, R are parallel lines. So we have three parallel lines, and in this figure we have to find the value of x over here. Okay, here these three parallel lines P, Q, R intersected by the line T. So then T is called transversal. So whenever two or more parallel lines are intersected by another line, it's called transversal, and the corresponding angles are congruent. So which angles are corresponding angles over here? So the angle measure over here, the angle measure over here, and the angle measure over here. The three angle measures I marked in red color are corresponding angles, and they must be congruent. Okay, so now let's consider only the two corresponding angles over here and here. Already we know the measure of angle over here is x degree. Then what must be the angle measure over here? This one also must be x degree, because these two angles are corresponding angles. So we get these two corresponding angles when three parallel lines PQ are intersected by the transversal T. Okay, now let's consider the angle measure over here 110 degree, and if I consider the angle measure over here, this is a straight angle, that is the angle on the straight line. Always the angle on the straight line measures 180 degree. So in this straight angle, if this particular part is 110 degree, then what is the measure of this particular part? So it has to be 70 degrees. So that when I add 110 and 70, I am getting 180 degree, which is a measure of a straight angle. Okay, now I got the measure of this angle 70 degree. Let me assume the measure of angle over here has to be y degree. Okay, now let's consider these three angle measures: y degree, 70 degree, and 35 degree. So these three are the interior angles of a triangle. So according to angle sum property of triangle, the three interior angles of any triangle will add up to 180 degree. So this y degree, this 70 degree, this 35 degree. So must add up to 180 degree. So let me write it. So y positive, 70 positive, 35 must be equal to 180. Okay, y positive, when I combine this 70 and 35, I'm getting 105 equals to 180. Okay, to solve for y, I subtract 105 from both sides. When I do so, this positive 105 and negative 105 will cancel out. When I subtract 105 from 180, I'm getting 75. The value of y is 75. Okay, now let's consider the angle measure over here. So this is a straight angle, that is angle on the straight line T. So this straight angle measures 180 degree, already we know that. So these two angles, x degree and y degree. So these two angles together form a straight angle. So the x and y must add up to 180, which is a measure of the straight angle. So here I know the value of y, so I can plug in 75 for y over here. So x positive 75 equals to 180. So to solve for x, I subtract 75 from both sides. When I do so, this positive 75 and negative 75 will cancel out. So x equals to, when it's 75 from 180, I'm getting 105. So I got the value of x. The value of x is 105.